To reboot in a new era, you must shake off old practices. Keep only the framework of your life and change everything else, including past methods. Only then can you accept and bring in new thoughts, new roles, and new methods, all of which you need to save your job, money, family, and future. You can be reborn as a competent person only when you change everything. Chapter 9. In uncertain times, think in scenarios. Thomas Frey, senior futurist at the Da Vinci Institute and Google's top-rated futurist speaker, wrote that the effect of coronavirus is like hitting a giant reset button for planet Earth. This reset button is often associated with rebooting a computer, and the term reboot is often used in the movie industry as well. There, reboots occur when filmmakers take the characters, plot, and backstory with which a movie started and change them all to make a completely different film. Leading scholars define post-coronavirus as a grand transitional time, where everything stops and everything changes. You cannot catch up in this time by making small changes. As Batman rebooted with Batman Begins, we have no choice but to lay down all the existing things and reboot. The best thing that you can do at the moment is reboot. Turn it all off and turn it on again. Fortunately or unfortunately, the only thing left for us, whose lives automatically came to a pause due to the coronavirus, is to restart the engine. There is one condition for restarting life. The main character remains the same, but the scenario must be written differently. In my case, the only thing that I kept was the most basic element, my career as a motivational speaker. I changed all the rest. The speaking style that I'd been stubbornly insisting on using, my know-how, and the platform by which I reached my audiences. Creating a scenario in which all these elements have changed is what is saving me in the post-coronavirus period. If you are determined to resurface as a competent person in the new world, you have to write your own reboot scenario every day. Write a life scenario in the face of uncertainty. What should I do, MK? This is the most common question I've been asked since the coronavirus outbreak began. From a small business owner who was hit by the coronavirus pandemic just a week after opening his business, to a single mom who, after working at home for 2 weeks, received a text message notifying her that she had been laid off, to a Korean American who had leased a house in London to start an Airbnb but hadn't had a single guest for several months. No one was prepared for this, so no one knows how to move forward. Even though we're all dealing with the same situation, it's affecting each of us differently, and each of our solutions will be unique. Listening to the stories of people who were struggling, including my own daughter and brother, I wanted to give them at least some straws to grasp at. But it was difficult to give them any answers because I was not directly involved in their situations. While racking my brain to figure out how we could all pull through this crisis together, I came up with the idea of asking them to start writing their own scenarios. I wanted to tell them to join hands with me and urgently search together for a solution to save ourselves in the midst of chaos. While reading various references and reports about the post-coronavirus world, I was most intrigued by those released by global consulting firms such as McKinsey & Company, Bain & Company, and the Boston Consulting Group. Scenario development was the main focus of all their reports. Each was packed with all kinds of scenarios, including one that analyzed various timeline models to predict when the pandemic would come to an end, a scenario that showed the global economic downturn curve, and a scenario that predicted economic impacts by industry.